Welcome. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a hidden world, the world of product strategy. It's this invisible blueprint that shapes every single thing you buy, from your car right down to your orange juice. So, let's dive in. Really think about it. You're standing in an aisle, you're faced with a dozen options. What is it that actually makes you reach for one specific box? Is it the features? The price? Maybe the look? Well, the truth is, your choice was probably guided by a strategy that was put in place long before you ever saw that product on the shelf. Take the Ford Fiesta, for example. Its huge success wasn't just about building a good car. Nope. It was about a brilliant global product strategy that just hit all the right notes. And to understand how they and so many other companies do it, we're going to use an analogy for this whole explainer. We'll call it the product onion. We're going to peel it back layer by layer to reveal the core of what makes a product a real winner. Okay, first things first. Before we can really get into strategy, we've got to be on the same page about what a product actually is. And I'm willing to bet it's a much broader idea than you think. See, a product isn't just something you can hold in your hand. It can be a service, like getting a haircut, or an experience, like going to a concert. It can even be an idea. At the end of the day, it's anything that solves a problem or fulfills a need for a customer. So this slide right here, this is our product onion. At the very center, the absolute core, you have the core benefit. You know that old saying, people don't want a quarter-inch drill, they want a quarter-inch hole. Well, that hole is the core benefit. The next layer out is the basic product. That's the drill itself. Then comes the expected product, the stuff you just assume it'll have, like a power cord and a trigger. But the real magic, that happens in the outer layers. And that brings us to a really crucial point about the world we live in now. In developed economies where markets are totally saturated, just having a product that works isn't enough, not even close. The real battle for your business, for your loyalty, is won or lost at the augmented level. That's where companies add value that goes beyond your expectations, like a better warranty, a slicker design, or a cool app to go with it. So let's say a company has built out all these product layers. How in the world do they make you notice their product instead of the 10 others that look just like it? Well, that brings us to the all-important topic of differentiation. Marketers have a whole toolkit for making their products stand out. They can add unique features, they can focus on making something super durable, or they can improve the performance quality. Mercedes-Benz actually had to overhaul its entire process in the early 2000s just to get its reputation for top-tier quality back. It's all about giving you a compelling reason to choose them over the other guy. But out of all those tools, there's one that has become just incredibly powerful: design. And we're not just talking about making something look good. It's about how it feels, how it functions. It appeals to both the rational and the emotional parts of your brain. I love this quote from the Chevy Volt's design director because it just hits the nail on the head. A product can be totally functional. It can be good for you, good for the planet, but if the design doesn't create desire, it's going to fail. You have to make people want to eat the Brussels sprouts. And that is something that companies like Bang & Olufsen get better than almost anyone. Their speakers are just beautiful objects. The design is so exceptional that it creates this really powerful sense of desire, and that allows them to command a huge price premium. It's not just a speaker anymore. It's a piece of art that also happens to play incredible music. Okay, so we've been focused on a single product, but the most successful companies, they don't just manage one product at a time. No, they manage an entire portfolio. They build a whole product family. This whole collection of products is what's known as the product mix. And to understand it, strategists look at a few dimensions, but two of the key ones are width, that's how many different product lines you have, and length, the total number of items in the mix. Let's make that real with an example. This chart for Procter & Gamble is a perfect illustration. The width here is just the 5 columns: detergents, toothpaste, and so on. The length? That's the total number of individual brands you see listed. And P&G are absolute masters at managing this mix to dominate the shelves at the supermarket. Companies also do this really clever thing where they strategically stretch their product lines. An upmarket stretch is when a company like Toyota creates a whole new luxury brand, Lexus, so they can compete in that premium space. And a downmarket stretch is the opposite, like when a premium brand like Mercedes introduces the C-Class to bring new, maybe less wealthy customers into the brand. Both moves are super risky, but they can be hugely profitable if you get them right. All right, let's head back to our product onion and talk about the outermost layers. These are the things you and I interact with most directly. We're talking the packaging, the label, and all the promises a company makes. In a crowded store, the package is pretty much everything. It's got to grab your attention, tell you what the product does, and build your trust, all in about 5 seconds. Iconic packaging like this classic tin for Kiwi shoe polish creates instant recognition and can become a massive asset for the brand. And because that connection is so powerful, messing with it can be incredibly dangerous. And there was just no better example of this than what happened to Tropicana orange juice. So back in 2009, Tropicana spent millions on this sleek, modern redesign of its carton. They got rid of that classic graphic of the straw sticking in an orange, and the result? Sales didn't just dip, they absolutely cratered by a staggering 20%. The public backlash was so fast and so severe that Tropicana scrambled to bring back the old packaging in less than 2 months. It was a very hard, very expensive lesson. Do not underestimate the emotional bond that your customers have with your design. Breaking that bond can be a costly mistake. Okay, one last outer shell strategy for you, and this one is just genius. It's called ingredient branding. This is the magic of Intel Inside. Intel managed to take a computer component, a microprocessor, and make it famous. They created such a strong preference that people started looking for the Intel sticker on the outside of the laptop, and it actually influenced which computer they bought. It's basically branding a product that's inside another product. So from the core benefit deep inside the onion to the logo on the package, every single element is a strategic choice. The product onion is absolutely everywhere. The next time you're walking down a store aisle, just take a closer look. What layers can you see? What story is the product on the shelf trying to tell you? You might be surprised by all the invisible strategies you now notice all around you.